Last video we talked about finding the root cause of your problem, whatever health problem that you have. If we are sick, we have to look at what are we deficient in or what are we toxic in. We have a special guest today. We have Nicole here. She is a functional nutritionist and she's come to really discuss the toxicity part of this. I know the past videos it's just been me, so we wanted to freshen things up and bring someone else along. Nicole practices in town here. She has a lot of experience coaching clients, helping them lose weight and to eat healthy.
Yeah, thanks Dr. Roth. I'm happy to be here today.
What's so bad about pesticides and why is it important that we stay away from them?
Yeah, so the normal produce that we see in the grocery store that's not labeled organic is called conventional produce. So conventional produce is actually, the farming practices are a lot more taxing on the environment, and not only that, but it's actually, they use a lot of synthetic pesticides, chemicals, and unnatural chemicals in the process of the growing process of the crops. And they use a lot of pesticides to produce higher yields in the crop, and also it actually can include a lot of like GMOs, or genetically modified ingredients. Genetically modified organisms. And we don't want that in our produce because that means that the produce is getting farther and farther away from nature.
So they genetically modify our foods and they put other chemicals so they have a longer shelf life.
Yep.
So it's all about money, basically.
Yep, that too. Yep, the bottom line.
And it's about produce, like getting more for what you put into it.
Exactly.
Getting more produce.
Yep.
All right. So if we're able to get more produce and the longer shelf life, that could be good as far as monetary, but why is that bad for our bodies? Why putting pesticides in foods can, I guess, harm us long term? And should we even buy everything organic because of that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So pesticides actually are, like I said before, are a synthetic, unnatural chemical. So ideally, we don't want to be putting chemicals into our body. And if we're eating produce or eating meat or whatever that's contaminated with antibiotics, hormones, GMOs, we're actually putting that into our body. We're eating that, we're absorbing it. It's turning into, whatever, disease, whatever in our body. So
our liver has to process that and try and get rid of it. But a lot of times when you just have too much toxicity, it's hard for our liver, and
there's toxic overload.
Certain things happen.
Yep.
Yes, toxic overload.
So a couple of things that, like risks that are associated with pesticide exposure is things like hormone disruption, skin issues, central nervous system toxicity, brain toxicity, cancer, and even like liver disruption and things like that as well. So
the skin thing always interested me, like because your body can't get rid of stuff. The liver's not functioning properly, or you just have too much toxic stuff in your body for your body to process and get through.
Right.
You could actually develop skin issues like eczema and other issues.
Which is something I actually had as well. I had a lot of skin issues growing up because of the diet, because of the antibiotics I was on and all those things. And the pesticides was one of them. I didn't know anything about organic growing up, So yeah, and
food was just food back then.
Food was just food. Yeah, food was just food. So choosing organic is really important because when you buy food that is certified organic, it actually in their practices it prohibits the use of using antibiotics, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, GMOs in their farming practice. So when you buy organic produce, you're not going to be getting any of those chemicals in your food. You're going to get real raw fruits, vegetables, whatever it may be. And actually, the organic produce actually is more flavorful without the use of all those conventional farming methods, and also has more antioxidants than conventional.
Less metallic taste.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we buy all organic? I know from my circumstance when I was in chiropractic school and I started getting those headaches, it's because strawberries are very porous, and so the pesticides can get into the fruit very easily, so a lot of pesticides remain in the fruit, and that could get people sick. But should we buy everything organic? Is there stuff that we could get away with? Because it's expensive, and if we're going to pay more for something, we want to get more health benefits. I remember they did a study on this, or they did a segment on the news. They were talking about organic fruit is no more healthy than a conventional food. Like there was this big thing. And they were talking about nutrients. conventional food more nutrient or less nutrient dense than organic food, and they have the same nutrients in it. It's just you don't want all the pesticides and the hormones and all that stuff. That's why you would choose organic.
Yep.
So looking at different types of produce, is there some foods that we definitely need to get organic and other foods we can get away with?
Yes.
Or I think there's a list called Dirty Dozen.
Yes, yep, the Dirty Dozen list. And the Environmental Working Group, or the EWG, puts it out each year. It's a list of the most contaminated produce and the least contaminated produce. So oftentimes you'll hear the Dirty Dozen list is the most contaminated, and then the Clean 15 is the top 15 produces that are the least contaminated. And ironically, you said strawberries. Strawberries is the number one most contaminated produce out there.
Yeah.
Awful. It used to be apples. I think it was a couple years ago, but just recently, after studies and stuff, it's now strawberries.
As a rule of thumb, the produce that has a thicker skin that doesn't allow pesticides to get in is usually safer, conventional side, and then organic or fruits that you want to buy organic are the ones that don't have much of a skin, like a banana. That's a thick thing that you have to peel, but like an apple, it's very thin skin, and the pesticide's going to get in pretty easily. So you could think of it that way. And then we also have the list for you. But thanks for coming in, Nicole, and going over this with me. I'm sure our viewers today are sick of just seeing me on video, so it's nice to have a fresh face in here.
Thank you.
She's a functional nutritionist, and she's in the area. She works with many clients on weight loss, and so thanks for coming in and explaining to us about organic versus conventional.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Welcome.